Thanks for staying up later. Roseanne Arnold is with us. What do they do when you win a Peabody Award? Do they have like a banquet and they present it to you? They send it to you in the mail? Is there a special ceremony?
I'm not sure. I think something happens in May in New York. So I'll be going out to find out. I have no idea.
Kind of ironic if you and the Seinfeld folks are at the same table. Come up, wave, smile.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure everything will be okay by then.
Who would have thought it? 2 sitcoms win Peabodys. That doesn't happen too often.
Yeah.
And it's these two, right on the heels of this nasty spat.
Wasn't a nasty spat. I'm very, very honored to have won a Peabody.
I mean, it is quite an honor. What's your reaction to it beyond being
Well, I was glad
honored?
for the reason that we won, which was that we show that it has a lot of social relevance, and that made me happy because I fought and worked a long time to get that, as everyone in the whole world knows. It's nice to get that recognition. At
the beginning of the show's history, it was mega successful in the ratings, but you weren't happy with the quality of the show, right?
Well, that's a whole story that'll take about 3 shows, so let's skip it.
Well, but the point is you're happy with where it is now. It had to get to where it is now to win a Peabody and for you to feel that satisfaction.
Yeah.
So skipping over all the particulars, what was it, beyond just being a hit television show, which it was, that you wanted to get it to?
I wanted it to be socially relevant.
In what ways do you think it's socially relevant now? Just the subject matter? Or?
The subject matter, the characters especially. Character more than anything. The interaction and the growth of the characters and the definition of the class that they're in. That's what I really like.
Despite all of your success, do you still feel your closest identification with that working class type of character, with the people who, by and large, are the audience for your show?
Well, it's my political and every other kind of view is still rooted in that, yeah.
If I asked you to pick out 3 or 4 episodes that best embody not just the entertainment element of the show, but what you were trying to get to, what would you select?
Well, I would, it's funny because there have been so many. There have been over 100, but probably the 3 that I'd pick now, maybe I wouldn't pick after I saw some more, but the ones that stick out in my mind are the menstruation show, where Darlene started her period, and we had to talk about menstruation, which I liked a lot because it had never been on television before.
I was just trying to explain to the child that I know how terrifying nightmares can be.
Can everybody shut up about nightmares? I didn't have a nightmare.
Well, then why did you have trouble going to sleep?
Were you worried about your basketball game?
No, I wasn't worried about my basketball game.
Did you screw up in history again, Darlene?
No, I didn't screw up in history again.
Then what is the matter?
I got my period, okay?
I like the show where Jackie and I go home to our house and talk about abuse. And I like the one where my character lets go of all of her resentments and anger and bitterness towards her father when he dies. I like those. I also like the PMS show. I like them for different reasons. Some of them were just gut-busting funny, and some of them were heart-wrenching. And so I'd probably have to pick about 10, maybe 10 different shows to say that this is what this show is and has done, and it's covered a lot of bases, and I'm really proud of that.
I'm not going to go over all the background stuff because your book has been out for a while.
Yeah, I'm writing another book. It'll be out next year.
And like the first one, you'll write it yourself without a ghostwriter.
Yeah.
So I assume people have read that book, or they've seen you with Oprah, or they saw you with Barbara Walters. So I'm not going to go through all that, but there is one story that I'd like to have you tell, if you don't mind, which is about bombing, at least in the audience's mind, in Louisville.
Oh, God.
And what you did in response to that, which is an indication of your personality and your character.
Well, they started to boo me, and they booed me off the stage, and it was in a pizza place at about 2 in the morning where everyone was drunk, and they were students, and, they were whatever they were doing, and I was, like, in the black house dress with the, I was, doing my domestic goddess thing, and they didn't get it and didn't want to hear it. It's like, oh, God, we don't want to hear it, blah, 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 so they booed me off. So I tried to deny them the privilege of booing me off, but it was too much. So I went to the back of the room and waited till the show was over. And as they filed out one by one, I looked them in the eye and I said, thanks a lot, and called each one of them a name. And it was very, it made me feel better.
Did any of them say anything in
No,
response?
they all looked down. They never expected it. But I have an even better story about me. Oh, my assistant's indicating my bra strap is showing.
And you know,
Thank you.
I had actually noticed that, but was so in the thrall of the conversation that I was letting it slide.
Oh, that's okay. I think a better indication of me, or maybe the same indication of me, is something I'm writing about for my book about in the first season when I was told to say the line as written and I refused. I refused till the network came, all the lawyers came, and everyone threatened my job, and I still refused. And I said, go ahead, I'm in bed, I don't care. Change the line or let me go to sleep. And I did that for quite a few days. And the fact is, this is the fact of it. I came here to do something, and I came here to do a certain something. And if I'm not allowed to do it, and if I'm not able to do it, then I shouldn't be doing it, and I can be poor again. So I don't really care.
Could you be poor again? You think you could handle it?
Absolutely. Yeah, even better than I did before. Yeah.
Is there
So I don't care, you know what I mean?
think there's a part of you that's uncomfortable with being successful?
No, well, probably, yeah, but I think I'm, trying to deal with that. But, yeah, I just want to, a big part of me just wants to go home and be a dirt farmer, ride my horse. I don't care. I mean, I care about my work and the quality of my work, but if there's a time where I'm not allowed to do my work or to say what I want to say, I'm not going to do anything different.
But you're in a position now where that shouldn't be a concern. I mean, such as your leverage that you can say what you want. And
nobody in this business did I say in this business? I hate people say nobody in this business. I'm so sorry.
And by the business, you mean the industry.
I mean the industry that I like to call show business. Nobody in television or in the same field that I'm in has any leverage or any power. That's all a big myth. None of us do. The only people in this thing that have any leverage is those people that turn on the knobs and register what they watch and then go out and buy the stuff that they're selling.
Well, as long as they tune to ABC for Roseanne, they're transferring that power to you.
I don't really think so. I think they're sharing a half hour of their lives with me, and that's how I need to look at it. It's how I prefer to look at it. They are giving me 1/2 hour of their life, and I mean that's a whole way different kind of power than okay, now I can get this hung like Mr. Cooper on or whatever. Do you know what I mean? That's real. If there is anything, it's like real power. And I don't mean power over people, and I don't mean power to exploit people. I mean just power of connecting with people. Mm-hmm. That's the most intense thing there is, and that is truly what I care about.
You come over here, your back is all bruised up. You won't tell me nothing about it. How do I know if you didn't get raped or mugged or something? Does Fisher know about this?
Why can't you just drop it?
Son of a bitch.
You don't understand.
He beat the crap.
No, he didn't. It's no big deal.
It's no big deal. What are you saying? He hit you. It sounded like he forgot your birthday.
We had an argument this afternoon, and he pushed me a couple times. Not Fisher's fault.
Then whose fault is it? I can't believe that you're saying
You
this.
don't even listen to me. He said he was sorry, and it would never happen again.
Damn, Jackie, you were a cop. You heard this same crap a million times. Now you're throwing it out on me. How could you let this happen to you? Shut up!
Does the celebrity get in the way of the work? Maybe not of doing it, but of people's view of it? Is it a filter?
Well, to some people it is. Sometimes I feel the celebrity gets in the way of the work, yeah. Like, I just went to New York with my friend Sandra Bernhardt, and we met some great artists and saw a great fashion show by Isaac Mizrahi, who's a great artist, and met other great artists. And And Sandra said, you know, out in L.A., she goes, you know, you're a celebrity, and that's as big as it can get, because that's what everybody aspires to, is being a celebrity. But it was as if in New York and from people in other places like Paris and blah, 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 the work and the craft of the work, I mean, that was probably the first time I ever felt like that was what people noticed rather than the celebrity of doing it. I felt acknowledged as an artist, and I guess that's what makes me feel really good about within my peer group too.
My impression as you lay this stuff out is that it's a sincere concern for you. It may be possible that other concerns or other impulses get on top of that at various times. But if that is your primary concern,
what?
At the work and making sure that people appreciate the work.
Well, it always has been, and I think behind every other fantastically fabulous blow-up of every story about me, even in the first year of my show, it was never that I was holding out for more money or for bigger windows in my dressing room. I was always holding out and fighting for the quality of my show, and that's because, you know, I'm not going to give up my soul or die for this stuff. I have something to say, and I will say it for as long as I can say it, and when I'm not saying it anymore, then I won't say it.
Keep me alive, but I got something for all you men to make you cry and holler. Oh, 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 and holler. Oh, 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 I'm a W-O-M-A-N, a woman.
You never know if these quotes are 100% accurate,
Yeah,
but I read a quote where
they're
you said...
usually not.
I read a quote where you said, if I could, I'd be on TV 24 hours a day.
I think that was a joke. Yeah, that was a joke where people were saying, boy, you're all over the place. Oh, I said, yeah, if I could, I'd be all the time. But no, I wouldn't really, but
if what you said before is true, if you're most comfortable, even if the gap is closing, if you're most comfortable in this world you've created, then it only makes sense we go.
Well, for my own feeling of safety, I would always rather be working than be at risk in the real world, but that's because of my past, and work is something I can control, and it's something that comes very easily to me also, you know. Emotions and handling them, that doesn't come so easily.
Do you worry that your own view of things might be skewed by whatever pain you've gone through?
It absolutely is.
The pain can give you insight and perspective, but can also skew it.
It's absolutely skewed. Of course it is. It's all people like me, we're damaged. We're absolutely damaged, and we try to hold ourselves together day by day. But there are really, the big myth is that there is anyone on the face of this earth who is not skewed or damaged. The truth is we all are.
Sure.
And there isn't one human being who isn't.
Do you say to yourself sometimes, if I have a situation where I react with anger or resentment toward some situation, does that person really deserve it? Or is that some part of me coming out?
Well, I think that we all do that. We all project all of the stuff we hate about ourselves onto everybody else. And I am as guilty for doing that as everybody else on earth. And I really try to be aware of it and not do that, because I find that it interrupts my creativity and it makes my karma not flow well.
When are you at your best? When do you hit those moments where you say, that's a representation of who I would like to be, who I am at my best?
I feel at my best work, I felt it in different spheres of my life, but when my kids are home and they're healthy and we're having a good time, I feel really, really happy. When I feel that I've been a good mother, when I feel that I've been a good life partner for my husband, and I feel good when I'm riding my horse. Love to ride my horse. And I feel good when my work reaches people and they appreciate it. I feel really proud of the Roseanne show. I feel proud of my acting and my writing and everything I have to do with that show. But I think for all the work that I've ever done, if we're talking work-wise, and I'm proud of my stand-up too, especially my last stand-up, which, you know, is universally panned because my stuff is always universally panned. But, you know, I came out and said the things that comics have been trying not to say for 10 years. I talked about abortion, I talked about Bush, I talked about the death penalty, I talked about abuse, you know, I talked about all those things within the context of a stand-up routine in an hour.
Damn Barbie doll. And it's always like, you know, beach blanket Barbie, sunset Barbie, suntan Barbie, Porsche Barbie, Malibu Barbie, really, really, really white Barbie. Well, that does not prepare you for the true horror of a real woman's life. Now, if they would have had single abuse trailer park Barbie. See, I might have avoided a lot of shit. You know, like Butch Barbie, alcoholic Barbie, homeless Barbie in her dream refrigerator box.
Which, you know, nobody's done before me since Richard Pryor for a long time, and I'm very, very proud of that. I did that. And I'm really proud of my work on the Jackie Thomas Show, which to me is the zenith of all the work I've done. I feel that that is definitely my best work because it's the... That's like a helicopter, huh?
We can only hope it's one of ours.
Really? That's like something Milton Berle would say in the 30s. But that was a snappy ad-lib, though. Even though it's like 60 years later,
right.
I still respect you for it.
But you know what?
But anyway.
Most of the audience who would remember that isn't here anymore. So I calculated in that millisecond before uttering the line, it will work. For most of the audience, it will work.
It's like something from the USO in the 30s.
That's right.
But anyway.
Except the difference is Milton would have hired the helicopter to go overhead so we could get off the line.
That's true.
And now the Metropolitan Choral Ensemble introduces new...
Can help. You know, again, I say this, I'm uncomfortable in this kind of sofa psychology stuff, and yet the questions suggest themselves. You said earlier, everything you do is universally panned.
Well, by critics, I mean.
But that's not true, because a lot of your stuff is really praised. Even people who might have misgivings about you.
In fact, that's why I won the Peabody Award, and I was using a gross overgeneralization.
Right. You win the Peabody Award.
I'm talking about, yes, I did win a Peabody, and I'm so happy about that, but let's talk about another side of it. My show has never even been nominated for an Emmy. So yeah, that makes me more mad than winning a Peabody makes me mad. That makes me happy. But all these things are simultaneous, and it's interesting, and I like to monitor all the press about it, and I like to monitor everything how my show is perceived. I love to monitor that because to me that suggests a whole big clue into the mass unconscious that I tried to tap to make my show. So I have to be in touch with that and the media, which to me, the media is like the status quo mass unconscious. So I have to know what they think so that I can go in there and mess it up a little bit. So yeah, I do watch everything. I am the total tube head, the total couch potato tube head that's ever been on Earth.
You know, almost everyone. It's human nature, at least for most, that somebody says something nice about you 9 times and they criticize you a 10th, and it sticks with you. Everybody is like that. In my own little corner of the world, I've had that emotion as well. But really, I have seen a lot of praise for your work. Not just for the show, but even before you had a show. I can remember reading in some fairly scholarly articles about how you were at the forefront of something in your stand-up work.
And I want to say...
I think what I'm saying is I think that there's a real appreciation for you out there. It may not be universal, and there may be misgivings. Somebody may say, this is great, I have misgivings about that, but that's the way the world is.
Well, and I'm not bothered by the fact that there are people with misgivings, and I'm very grateful that anybody gets my work in this age and time. But when they do, I want to say that that totally refreshes and recharges me and makes me feel really, really good that people are hearing. I mean, I'm an artist, so I definitely want people to hear what I have to say, and when they do, it's just great because it's this great cosmic connection. And when they don't, that's great too, because it's a way to look into it and see how to bring it back. So, I mean, I'm not going, hey, you know, I'm not doing it like nobody likes me kind of paranoid thing. I just see it all as it's just on a continuum of, you know, 1 to 10. And I can learn from all of it. But, you know, sometimes I'm human and mad about nasty little things. I mean, you know, and plus I really feed off of nasty little things. I can come back with some great jokes from it. So it all kinds of feeds into what I do, you know.
So are there times when something happens and you say, you know, I'm a little upset, but some mechanism kicks in and says, I better get up a good head of steam about this because it feeds a part of you?
Definitely all the time. You know, I could be a little upset about this, but let's see how big I can blow it. How big I can blow it up. Yeah, I do that.
Let's make a little feud out of it or whatever. Yeah.
It's very, very fun in some ways. It's fun. And it's part of what I do.
We'll keep talking. They'll keep taping. We hope you'll be back here 23 and a half hours from now. Roseanne Arnold will. Until then, see you later. Thanks for staying up later. This is night 2 of our conversation with Roseanne Arnold, so let's get to it.
And I didn't even change my clothes.
But they're lovely still.
Thank you.
When you and Tom go to Iowa, and you go to the new restaurant that you opened up, is the reaction from people there, and I don't mean this as a stereotype or some kind of patronizing thing, but in the heartland, is that reaction different than what you get elsewhere, or is there pretty much a consistent reaction to you?
Well, there people feel, I think, you know, an affinity with us because we've come to their place, their hometown, and my husband is from there, so everybody's real friendly, and they're very supportive. It's like everywhere I go, I do feel from my fans some kind of a lot of support and a lot of love, and that one, you know, I suppose it's the same, it's just in various languages.
Is it possible at all for you to separate the reaction to Roseanne, the tremendous celebrity, Roseanne Arnold, and Roseanne, the television character, or are they just at this
you mean
point
Roseanne Connor and Roseanne Arnold?
Yeah, are they just at this point so intertwined that there's no separating them?
No, they're separate but equal. And there's a little joke there for people in the South. But they intertwine a lot. But people tell me who they like when they come up and talk to me. People will say, I love your show, and so then I'm like, okay, well, they love Roseanne, you know, they like Roseanne Connor and the family. And a lot of people come up and say, you know, I really love your work. And that's a different kind of fan, so you can tell. They come up and tell you what it is that they like. So they're going to get different reactions, you know.
Yeah. I read, and this may go back a little while, where you said, I think I'll do the show. When its run is complete, I'll retire. Still feel that way?
Sure, definitely. I'll retire from that specific thing, but I'll always be doing something.
Oh, so you won't retire from the
No, I probably will
business.
for a while. I like to do a lot of different things. I like to write books, and I like to, you know, write. And I would like to direct and write and direct and produce my own movie, one at least, before I die. So, but I'm sure I'm going to take a long time off before I do whatever is the next thing I'm going to do.
Is all of this stuff emotionally exhausting to the point where you need a hiatus away from it?
No, it's not emotionally exhausting for me. In fact, it's quite the opposite. It's very regenerative. feel like my battery gets recharged all the time when I work. Somebody asked me once if I had fear before I went on stage, and I said no. That's the only place I never have fear. I have fear in the real world, and that's what drains me. It's the real world. I like the world that I've invented and control, and I like that.
Is it getting better for you in the real world? Are you more at ease in the real world?
I'm getting better in the real world, yeah.
I'm not at my best when asking these sorts of questions because I feel as if they're touchy areas. Even
I'll let you know.
Even for somebody like you who
Yeah.
has, in part, chosen this kind of public life because, well, the tabloids may say things that are untrue or that are hurtful. It's obvious that both you and Tom enjoy being public figures and enjoy talking, at least on your own terms, about things that are private.
Well, I don't know if we enjoy it. I feel that we feel compelled to do it. But it does take a bite out of us. It has a price, definitely, but I feel that that price is worth it.
Why is it worth it?
Because it helps a lot of people. And to be in a position where you are able to help a lot of people is a very great blessing from God. It is.
So in talking about
And I respect that. I respect that as a gift from God.
So in talking about your own problems, whether it was in being abused as a youngster or having spent time in a mental institution or whatever, in talking about...
A lot of that I didn't choose to come forward. I would probably never have chosen to be as public as I have ended up being, but what happened was my parents invited, at the very beginning of my career, my parents invited reporters into their home from all over the world, from London, and they were all tabloid reporters, and they let them stay in our house. They took them out for dinner. They gave them all my baby pictures. They told them every story of my life, including when going into the mental institution. I didn't know that my parents had done that until I saw it in the paper, and I got the first call from the Inquirer saying, "Is this true?" By then, my life had taken a turn beyond my control, that it was so public that there was really no way to ever reverse that. So I just decided, well, you know, it's fate, just go with it. And I have picked and chosen things to come public with. There's a lot more that I haven't come public with.
Is it something that you have control over? Like there's a timetable where you say, you know, all in good time, this will come out, that'll come out,
I just trust
or is
God.
it forced out by emotion?
I really just turn it over to God and go, or to my higher power, and say, you know, whatever is meant to be will be. And within reason, I mean, I do the work, I do this and that, and I can say no, I have some control. But if things are bigger than me, then I assume that it's for some really good reason, and that people are wanting to hear it or needing to hear it. And particularly about incest and child abuse, it has helped a lot of people. And not just myself, but Oprah and a lot of other celebrities coming forward has helped innumerable people, and a lot of them children who are suffering, and I'm very proud to have done that.
You ever have people come to you and say, A, I respect and enjoy your work, B, when you talk about a subject like incest or child abuse, that you perform a service if you feel up to doing it, we respect that. But then there are aspects of your public persona that seem gratuitous, that seem like you're calling attention to yourself or to the personal circumstances of your marriage. And some of the stuff, whether it's talking about breast reduction or talking about the state of your marriage or whatever, just seems, it makes them uncomfortable. It seems like it's too brassy for them, if that's the right word.
Well, I'm too brassy for a lot of people, but I don't care. I'm not going to change and become, you know, the Princess of Wales for them. I am who I am, and, you know, if it's too much for them, they better go to therapy and find out why. My doing anything is too much for them.
Why do you think people are so perpetually interested in you?
Because I suppose because there's so much, I don't know, because I'm so damn good looking, I guess. I don't know. Are they bored? I don't have any other things to do. I don't know. I think when they say, hey, you're too brassy or this or that, what you said, that they didn't particularly want to share that moment. But, you know, I don't do anything to shock people. I don't really, anymore, I really try not to do that and not to do anything irresponsibly. But I'm just being myself, and sometimes, you know, it's not what other people would choose to do, but, you know, this is me.
So there are some things you look back on and say, I wouldn't do that again.
Not really.
But you just said there are some things that you wouldn't do just to shock somebody.
Yeah, well, I think that I've grown past that. But no, I can't go back and change anything. I mean, I've done what I've done.
So you've grown past it but don't regret it.
No, and it might come up again. Might need me to do it sometime. People get a little bit too smug in their hypocrisy. They might need me to come out and say something. And I always will, because that is me too. And what I do in the media is me. That's also part of my job, everything I do is what I do. And when I don't do it no more, I won't be doing it no more. But while I'm here, I'm going to do it.
Considering the way you grew up and some of the hard knocks you took and what that might have done to your self-esteem and your focus on things, was it a courageous step or simply the only step you could have taken because somehow you were compelled that way to get up on stage and do stand-up? Because this is, as you say, as naked a form as there is in entertainment. It involves rejection and acceptance on a moment-to-moment basis. It would be daunting for whoever the Society for Mental Health designated as the best adjusted person on the planet. It would still be frightening.
Well, the best adjusted person on the planet would never, ever do it. And that's why it's such magic. Because it's just like you take a little piece of wood, a little piece of stage, and just fly off right into some transcendent place that's above and beyond anything. But yeah, I think it's the only thing that I could. It always was the only thing I ever could do, was be cutting and funny and a little shocking. And so it was really cool at a time in my life where I embraced it and said, okay, I'm going to do it. Because I always tried to fight it. I always thought that I should write poetry instead. I thought I was meant to be a poet. And all my poetry would be sad and then end up being really mean and funny. And the day that I decided that that was really a voice that I needed to bring out and listen to was a happy day for me, to decide to do the thing that you can do. Yeah, you know.
Besides doing it well and getting the laughs and saying...
Oh, and I love the booze too, honey. I love the laughs and the booze. I
Just what I
love
was
it when they
getting to.
hate me. And sometimes I hate it when they love me.
Really?
Yeah.
If they love you for the wrong reason?
Yeah, because I want them to don't forget to listen now. Don't forget to listen when you think I'm so damn cute up there. Listen to what I'm saying. I'm trying to mess your head up a little bit.
But those people, they're just so over the top. They just so get on your nerves, you know. The animal rights people, you know what I mean? You just want to skin them and wear that. Yeah, I really doubt that throwing a bucket of blood on some old Jewish broad in a raggedy-ass mink is going to do a thing.
You enjoy, for its own sake, discomforting people sometimes?
Sometimes, yeah, because it needs to be done. My God. My God, why is anyone comfortable? Why is anyone comfortable?
Sometimes it needs to be done for a larger reason, to make a statement, to get people to think.
Yeah.
But is it also, do you enjoy sometimes doing it, whether it's unconscious or not?
Oh,
for
yeah,
personal
I
reasons,
feel that...
because you've been made to feel so uncomfortable
No,
at
it's
various
not
times in
because
your
of
life,
that.
you send it back?
No, it is not because of that, and it's nothing out of being vengeful and a negative thing. It's a positive energy that I feel comes from the universe when I open my mouth and my head's in the right place, and I feel that God is coming out and speaking through me. I mean, that sounds like insane, but if I was saying this poetically, you wouldn't think it was insane. But anyway, I feel that that there is a real pro-human message that needs to come out through people's mouths. And when I open my mouth and some really pro-human message comes out to remind people that you need to forget all the stuff and all the people that you think aren't as good as you or are better than you, or people that you feel you are obliged and justified to hate, that that's all BS and it's wrong. When I have that message out, I feel like just like I'm at the holiest mountain there is. When I can say, wait a minute, you have no right to hate anybody, no matter what they say, no matter how justified you feel in your religion or whatever it is that makes you have that black hole in your head that goes, I'm justified to hate this group, because you aren't, and nobody is. And whether it's sex, race, or anything else, religion, nationalism, anything. I feel blessed to be able to do it, and I feel so free when I can do it, when I go, God, you are so full of it. Why don't you see? You've got a huge black hole in your head where all your intelligence is being sucked into when you use a word like that. Because people are scary when they're comfortable.
What's the most hurtful thing anybody can do to you? Not has done. I'm not looking for particulars of your background because, again, that's been gone over before. But what hurts you now?
Oh, I hurt for all kinds of reasons. I hurt for other people. I hurt for children. But personally, I don't think there is anything anybody can do that will hurt or surprise me that hasn't been done, and honey, that I have not already lived through. So, I don't think there is nothing.
So you get riled, but not really hurt?
No, because I've already lived through it, you know, and it would all be just, I have lived through the worst things that you can live through, and I survived them. And anybody out there who's starting to go into any kind of this recovery type work, remember that you've already lived through the worst of it. You have already survived. So don't be afraid to get in there and figure it out and heal. It takes a lot of courage to heal, and boy, did I go off.
Well, that's all right. So it's like you said before then, if you get upset about something or something gets under
nobody can hurt me because of the fact that I know that people who set out to hurt other people are doing it because they are so hurt inside of themselves. Do you know what I mean? Like somebody to say something that they mean in a hurtful way, that's the same way they talk to themselves inside their own head. So I have more pity and empathy because I was in that place where you need to knock people down to make yourself feel better. And I'm glad that I have left that place. I thank God that I've been able to leave that place. I still go back there. But I feel sorry I hurt for those people because we're all so screwed up. We're just all so screwed up.
You want to read this, or you want me to read it?
What is it?
The poem about I Want to Be Like Lenny Bruce.
Oh, God.
Is it a bad poem?
Another lifetime ago. You can read it.
You think it's a bad poem? Or?
No, I have better ones, but go ahead.
All right. I want to be like Lenny Bruce. And
I wrote this when I lived in a trailer and I had 3 kids.
How long ago would that be?
That was in 1976.
Want to be like Lenny Bruce, an iconoclast straight and true, but I don't know what's hypocritical, even though I am a Jew. I want to be like Gertrude Stein, a cubist I have read, but I don't understand an inch of what the hell she said. I want to write poetry or a novel that would sell, but I can't think of what to say or how to say it well. I want to be like Germaine Greer and speak for my sex, but male and female to me are equal nervous wrecks. The hardest part of being an artist, I have found, is trying to strike a balance between the pure desire to create and having only meager talents. Yeah. Have you reassessed your view of your own talents?
I've reassessed what talent means, yeah. I have a talent that I didn't think was a talent.
First the helicopters and now this.
I have a talent to make electrical things go wild. No, but I see talent as my own and everybody else's as just a broader definition of talent than I had when I used to think it was something like singing or dancing, and do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I have a broader vision of all of the whole world, actually, since I wrote that.
You view it now more as a talent to reach people rather than some objective show business definition of talent?
Yeah, a talent and a gift, and something I love and I'm so lucky to have. And I hope I don't never abuse it in the wrong way. But yeah, I guess, yeah, I guess I would call it that.
Hope this isn't too sappy, but what if you continue, and I'm only taking your cue on this. You said earlier that you're getting closer to feeling emotionally secure and stable and better about yourself. Suppose you got to a place, no one ever completely turns down the noise in their head, but suppose you got to a place where it was just a low hum, you know? Do you worry that the edge would come off? That it would hurt your output creatively?
No, because I think you can, then you would just go from comedy to tragedy. That's why they always have those two faces together.
Right.
The smiling one and the frowning one.
Yeah.
So without the edge, and the edge is what makes things funny. If I was going to go into that plot, which is where I do want to go, I just do a flop like that, and it wouldn't be so funny anymore. Like, you know, Dick Gregory said, I was a comic, and he was a great comic, and he said, but I got to the point where it just wasn't funny anymore, and he began to do great political and social things, and that's probably where all of us comics end up, one way or another. We do, it seems.
Last question. If in the next 5 years you could accomplish just one thing professionally, beyond the successful conclusion of the show that you're well known for, what would it be?
Well, professionally, if I was to accomplish anything, I'd like to have about 10 shows with alternate lifestyle viewpoints on the air, which is what I am working on. But professionally, for 10 years from now, if it didn't happen, I'm going to be okay. What I would really like to do in 10 years from now is, Tom and I have a foundation, and what I would like to look back on in 10 years from now is hopefully that we would have affected some change in legislation and the judicial system with the way that it treats child abuse and child sexual abuse, that I would have had something to say and do that would have helped people heal and speak out and stop it. That's what I'd really like to see happen in 10 years, above and beyond my work and everything else. I would really love that.
Now, if I came to Eldon, Iowa, and I was really hungry, hadn't eaten since breakfast, what would you serve me in that new restaurant of yours?
Well, I'd give you a loose meat sandwich with cheese, piece of pie, some coffee, and I'd let you taste one of our cinnamon rolls, because that's what I like the best there, is the cinnamon rolls. Homemade in the back, excellent.
So kind of a low cholesterol snack.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Well, you know, people there can eat that way because they work so hard. If you're out there baling hay for 10 hours, you aren't going to get, and you can eat that way and not get cholesterol.
So take that, Dr. Art Uleen. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much.
Roseanne Arnold, and we're out of here. See you later.